Hello again, everyone. Zack Attack is here. My WWE Raw review for tonight, Monday, June 27th, 2016. Alright, if anyone didn't see my attack line for today, notice my new little fashion accessory, my sling. Got into a little bit of a bike accident this past Friday afternoon. I was crossing a red light on 23 Mile in Van Dyke. It was red on one side, but the other side had a green light for white turn. I didn't see any ghost white turning. So I went, and sadly, there was a call turning white. I didn't see it, and crossing got me hit, got me knocked off my bike. Only broken clavicle, though. So, thank God I'm here. Thank God it didn't get worse. I'm blessed it didn't get worse than it was. So I can be here today and do my wall review. It's been an interesting and weird week for WWE, hasn't it? We had, of course, the Monday pay-per-view with the cash-in of Dean Ambrose. Some people said it was wasted on him, but hey, it was a hell of a moment. And then we had a big main event made for Battleground. Made that should be at SummerSlam. Then, just 24 hours later, Roman Reigns gets suspended for apparently violating the wellness policy of the WWE. Thus being suspended for only a month because it's his first offense. Of course, I made a video about this. Technically, he is still able to make it to Battleground, but in my mind, without him being there for the build, the match should have been postponed to SummerSlam. But they knew Reigns was going to be suspended going into Money in the Bank. That's probably why Ambrose won. And the triple threat is on still. That's their intention. Even Rollins was like, please don't let this triple threat happen. Reigns got suspended. He's like, I don't care. We're not supposed to talk about Reigns' suspension because he came out to kick off Raw. He's like, I don't care if we don't get the bomb. We're not allowed to. Fuck you. I have a live microphone. Let's do joke about Reigns. Scripted shoot or not, it was like interesting to see. Rollins like, you got this big match made, but then 24 hours later, boom. Reigns got suspended, and he owns it. Yeah, what? He owns everything, Rollins said. And Rollins like, well, since Reigns is out of the way, let's make this a one-on-one affair with me and Ambrose. But then AJ Styles came out saying, let's still make this a triple threat, but me be involved. Replace Reigns. Well, that's well, Ambrose came out too doing that whole exchange. And Ambrose was like, well, you want me one-on-one? But my round triple threat's still on. That's when AJ came out saying, it's make me replace Roman. Or maybe at least make it a fatal four-way. But then Cena came in and intervened, saying how we make it a fatal five-way. You know, these guys were arguing, and Stephanie came out, saying Shane's not here, but I'm going to be controlling Raw tonight. So, gentlemen, specifically you, Cena and AJ, you want to be in this match so bad? Well, you get an opportunity to. Cena gets to face off against Seth Rollins tonight in a kind of continuation, kind of a revival of their feud that was also for the WWE Championship last summer. And Dean Ambrose would take on AJ Styles. If Cena and or AJ would win their matches tonight, they would both be inserted in the triple threat match that they're still planning on doing, even with no Reigns, there for the build at Battleground. So, there you go. On to our first matchup, the women's match. Charlotte and Dana Brooke against Paige and Sasha Banks. Glad Sasha's back. I've been ranting about the bilking of the women's division. They try to do so good, trying to win back the good graces of us and bring back women's wrestling in a vital way and make it liable again, the main roster. But with shitty booking and them not being seen a lot and the way they're booking it, it's just fucking atrocious. I've been ranting about it for the last couple weeks. But Sasha Banks returned last week to start a feud against Charlotte, which would hopefully culminate at SummerSlam. They don't need to waste another possible big SummerSlam match at Battleground. They need to have Charlotte and Sasha at SummerSlam. the slow build began with that, and of course tonight with this tag team affair. And it was actually not bad of a tag team match. Better than a tag team match at Money in the Bank with Becky Lynch and Natalya against Dana and Charlotte. Dana's still working the kinks out from her mistakes that she made, the botches that she made during the tag match at Money in the Bank last week. I think she and Charlotte gelled better and did a better job as a team than at Money in the Bank. They isolated Paige early. But then Sasha Banks got in there after the hot tag. She started off early, but then Paige got tagged in. But once Sasha Banks got back in there, the hot tag crowd popped. Which means they're ready to see Sasha be the champion. They're ready to see a new women's champion. And I love Charlotte. I've been a big fan of hers since the NXT days. But when the main roster comes around, people do get sick and tired of you quickly if you get shoved down their throats. Ain't that right, woman wins. Anyway, with Charlotte taking out the picture from Paige, Sasha had to isolate Dana Brooke in the corner. And there's those big moves. Leading up to the bank statement. Now, there was a little bit of speculation going around that they banned her from using the submission part of the bank statement because it resembled too much of the crossface by insert name here. I mean, Chris Benoit. Because when she came back last week, she only did the first part of the bank statement. The backstabber part, not going into the submission. Led to some speculation. But she did a bank statement tonight to Dana Brooke. She did both parts. The backstabber part and the submission part. So the submission is not banned despite speculation. But she made Dana Brooke tap, tap, tap in a victory in a decent women's match. Maybe it should have been longer. For what it was a decent opener. And hopefully a step in the right direction. The WWE's been doing a shitty job booking the women's division after WrestleMania. Now that Sasha Banks back, they can finally do it right. This is the last chance to finally do something right in the women's division. Make Sasha Banks the champion and do it at SummerSlam, baby. Fans are on her side for sure. So, there you go. Keep a good game going. And don't screw this up, WWE, like you have after WrestleMania. So, on to the next matchup. Rusev against Titus O'Neil. Stemming from, of course, Money in the Bank, where was supposed to have a rematch last week on Raw. But Titus O'Neil, after such a boring showing it in my TV, especially in a bad way, you know, it was like at the worst time. Now here's a pay-per-view going to go over. They were right after the Money in the Bank ladder match, which is awesome. They were also after Cena and AJ. And in fact, they were opposing the last 2 minutes of Game 7 of the NBA Finals. So they kind of made up for it the night after with a more aggressive Titus O'Neil beating the crap out of Rusev, causing a no contest. He wanted to keep his emotions in check for this matchup, which was another non-title affair. But Titus couldn't let it in. He beat up Rusev for the first couple of minutes. I thought, here we go again. Another no contest, but there was a proper match this time. But despite Titus' offensive fury early, the Bulgarian Brood came back with his big moves and big kicks. And almost tried the accolade a couple times. They wanted to crush Titus, but they brought on the outside, and Titus nailed Rusev against the steps and brought on the announce table, with the ending being Rusev being knocked over the announce table, unable to break the count, with Titus getting back in, Titus winning by count out. So the feud will continue. Bob ended the match at Battleground with some sort of stipulation. No DQ, a no count out, because we had a no contest last week. Now we had a count out victory for Titus O'Neil. So there you go with that situation. Rusev loses, but only by count. We had the continuing gag of the returning former SmackDown GMs. We had a reappearance, though, of one that's already appeared. Corbin King returned, because since he appeared, it was only Shane that night when he showed up, so Stephanie wasn't there. But Stephanie was there tonight. So, he made a little cameo. And we had a couple returns of people that were at a movie. Miz was shooting Moon 4, Marine 5, whatever number it is. Despite the fact he's IC champion, they let him keep the championship, even though he was going to make a movie. So he was going to defend his championship tonight, since it's been a month since he's been away. Against a mystery opponent, a cliffhanger, Stephanie said. So then we're on to our next affair. John Cena against Seth Rollins to see if Cena would be able to make the triple threat a fatal four-way. Maybe a fatal five-way if AJ would get the victory at Battleground. These two, of course, kind of picked up where they left off during their feud over the summer of last year for the WWE Championship, which included some big moments like the SummerSlam match when Jon Stewart turned on John Cena, and of course the infamous Seth Rollins breaking of John Cena's nose with his knee. And the matches were good for the most part, and this was no exception. This was a pretty good good matchup, very fun match with both these guys brawling it out. Rollins kneeing and kicking Cena a couple times, didn't break his nose this time, but still carrying the same velocity. Both guys went for the big moves, pedigreed multiple times for Rollins. Even Cena at one point did try to find out a shuffle twice before nailing it the second time because Rollins blocked it the first time. And he parodied Cena. And it's kind of interesting that this is the 14-year anniversary of John Cena's very first match in the WWE when he debuted during the Kurt Angle Challenge, during what was known as the Ruthless Aggression Era. Interesting to see how Cena's gone in the last 14 years. It's insane. So as Cena comes back from the offense of Rollins, including the Fallen Widow, Fallen Arrow, which I think this should be Rollins' new finisher. I said it during the Money in the Bank review when he used it against Reigns. That should be his finisher. Fuck the pedigree. He used it on Cena again tonight. He did almost the same move that he injured himself. It was kind of interesting. He did like the power bomb on the ropes. Kind of like the same, like I said, the same spot that he got injured in back in November. So I was scared to see him do that move again. Seeing Rollins try to do the same move that got himself injured, it's kind of like me crossing on 23 again. At the same place that I got injured. Sorry, bad joke. Yeah, I'm trying to make light of the situation. Light of my injury. So as Cena came back, even tried to do the FU at one point to Rollins. Here comes the club with AJ Intel and his track Cena. And Rollins capitalized on the distraction, nailing the pedigree and the 1-2-3 victory for Rollins, keeping this match a triple threat for now. We'll see how AJ Styles would do in his match against Dean Ambrose, and see if Cena may want to get some revenge. But on to our next matchup. We had one of my favorite tag teams. Not just in NXT history, but also, of course, main roster now. Enzo and Big Cass. And look at what we got here. They're facing a bunch of jobbers. A couple jobbers. Sorry, I had to do that. I had to do that. Couple jobbers. Because, Enzo's doing a couple haters. Had to do a couple jobbers. So we had a couple jobbers get destroyed by Enzo and Cass, whose names were Mitch Walding and Carlos Conti. Blink and miss matchup. Speaking of jobbers, we have the return of the Job Squad 2.0. I mean, the Social Outcasts, who, like Miz, have been gone for a month, shooting Marine 5. It was kind of like a really peculiar time to be gone, knowing that one of their own is no longer part of the company. And even was so desperate to get back in the game, he even was trying to sell a t-shirt with his mugshot on it and didn't fare too well. Wasn't that tasty. Ain't that right, Adam Wells? Anyway, the remaining 3 members trying to keep this train rolling, even with 1 man out. Of course, Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel, and the Heath Slater. Apparently, Enzo and Cass are feuding with these guys now. Because Enzo and Cass, since they're not feuding for the tag team titles anymore, since we all know who New Day's feuding with now, which we'll get to in a moment, because they had another interaction with them tonight, the team that the New Day is feuding with. And they beat the Vaudevillains, so it's like, who's the next feud for Enzo and Cass? The Social Outcast, Willie. You know who's going to win out of this feud, Enzo and Cass. They knocked Slater off and wanted a piece of Axel and Bo in an okay interaction. But they didn't want no piece. Save it for another day. But of course, we ended with S-A-W-F-E. Soft. They were hard. Social Outcast led to some election jokes. Better than any of Coney Reigns' jokes or any of Cena's jokes. So we were supposed to have another women's match. Like, yay, 2 women's matches in the same night. Yay. With not Dana Brooke, but Becky Lynch take on Summer Rae. Natalia's at ringside. We know what happened at the end of the Dana Brooke Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Natalia match. Natalia turned heel. I read later they were supposed to turn Becky Lynch heel, but they reversed it last minute to make Natalia the heel. Natalia was a good heel I think she was here like in 0809. So she was a good heel. I think she's going to be good if they fucking do it right. At least I'm letting these two feud against each other and give them a submitting feud so Charlotte can feud against Sasha Banks. Becky Lynch didn't want to fight Summer Rae. She didn't care about wrestling Summer Rae. She went right for Natty and the brawl was on between these two women. Referees tried to break them off, but Becky just wouldn't get enough of beating up Natalia, broke through the barrier, broke through the referee's barrage, and still got her hands on Natty a little bit before the final break off. So there you go. These two have their issues. Natalia attacked her in the match and also attacked her on the wall last week. Speaking of personal rivalries, we're onto the highlight wheel with Chris Jericho as he brought on 2 vital guests who weren't that vital that we thought. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. 2 men who I would like to see feud forever. Their match at Payback was awesome, but even their characters know that neither of them can't succeed without getting rid of this issue with these two. Because their individual goals are being ruined by the hatred of each other. Because they've been in IC title matches together, and of course most recently they were in Money in the Bank match. And both men could not get the brass ring. They couldn't grab the championship or the briefcase because of their hatred for one another, one screwing over the other. They want this feud to end. Jericho tried to be the mediator for it. And they agreed to a match at Battleground. Another match that should be at SummerSlam. But hey, if they're going to be drafted to other brands, that'd be interesting to see. Of course, the draft's back. Brand split's come back. July 19th, the draft. And if they are going to draft Owens and Sami Zayn to separate brands, to keep them away from each other, then they have one more showing. And add a stipulation to it. If it is going to be the advertised last better, it makes sense if they are going to get drafted. Like one goes to Wall, one goes to SmackDown. And then Jericho's like, well, that's it. But drinking the gift of Jericho. Even if Owens and Zayn, I said AJ, almost said it, but I said it. It's like, kind of, I'm only on prescription pills. You know, I'm on Motrin. I'm not that loopy from this accent, but still, try to be with me here. So kind of a fun but rough weekend with this. And still doing gigs with this situation. And if Zayn and Owens don't like each other, they do agree on one thing. One thing. They hate Jericho. He was blabbing it up, including soaking in the gift of Jericho. He soaked up the double super kick from both Owens and Zayn. But they stared each other down, basically saying to each other, see you at Battleground. So we'll see if they do add a step. Now on to a matchup for the Intercontinental Championship, The Miz defending. I was like, who could Mystery Opponent be? Will it be the return of Randy Orton? Could it finally be the debut of Finn Balor? He posted a picture of himself at the wall set. Or a wah wah. And sadly it was the wah wah wah. Demon Kane. Wrong demon. We wanted Demon Balor, not Demon Kane. Balor ever gonna debut? But with him feuding with Shinsuke Nakamura, the match is gonna happen on NXT. It's been like, no, he's done. Like, one of the biggest mistakes is wasting big matches for little events. Balor and Nakamura should be a takeover, not on a regular NXT show, unless it ends in a DQ to lead towards the takeover match. It's the only reason they can have it on a takeover. Same as that with maybe AJ and Cena if they feud. Especially if AJ were to lose tonight against Ambrose. You know, they have a match at Battleground. They can have a screwy ending to continue the feud. So we'll see what happens there with that. But we have Copa Kane against Miz. We haven't seen Copa or Demon Kane wrestle in a while. So Demon Kane did okay to battle out against the IC champion. Look okay, better than he has been recently. Like when he wants to take him seriously, when he's not bunched up in bad booking, Kane can be a viable worker still. He's slower than he used to be, but he can still put on some okay matches. But then Maryse faked an injury, causing Miz to take her out to the back and get counted out. Good acting, Miz said when Maryse told Miz what she did. That it was a fake injury because she was on the apron and fell and pretended she broke her ankle. Acting. That she deserves an Emmy, blah, 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 blah. So on to our tag team affairs. Cesaro and Apollo Crews against Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio, former members of the League of Nations, back together again. It's interesting, Cesaro got a bigger pop than Apollo Crews has. Now, I like Apollo Crews. I've said it's too early for him. And I said it last week, too, in my reviews of Money Bank and Raw, that Apollo needs to add more refinements to his character and add something to people to latch on to. Instead of just being a guy with a lot of flips and that $1 billion smile. Because I do love that $1 billion smile, but he needs more to him. He needs more definition. He needs more refinements to his character. Some for the fans to latch on, like I said, to jump onto it. Give them a reason to cheer you, other than, oh, he's just a nice athlete. So, this is all, they say Cesaro can't connect, but look at Cesaro section signs and all the people doing Cesaro's moves. Apollo wanted a piece of Sheamus early, especially after the beatdown on SmackDown this past Thursday. But Del Rio started off pouncing on Apollo till, of course, Cesaro came in. Went on the uppercut train, choo-choo, on Del Rio, teasing the swing on both Del Rio and Sheamus. But couldn't get to do the swing tonight. So he was isolated in a corner by Del Rio and Sheamus trying to work together, trying to recapture their former glory in the League of Nations. But Sheamus was doing some big moves, including the Irish backbreaker, Irish curse backbreaker. Cruz got tagged in and got a piece of Sheamus as he brought him to the outside. But then Sheamus and Del Rio's issues have not been settled. Despite reluctantly tagging and teaming up good for the most part, Del Rio slapped the taste out of Sheamus' mouth, drop kicked his ass, and left him high and dry. Leaving Apollo Crews to pick up the scraps, knocked him on the outside, nailed him against the steps, set up for the big powerbomb move. Then 1-2-3 victory for Crews and Sheamus, his other rival, Cesaro, in this affair. With Sheamus getting pinned, infuriated Del Rio for walking out, and the feud of Crews continues on. Now on to our next promo. It looked like the Wyatts were coming out, but instead it was New Day dressing up like the Wyatt family. Last week the Wyatts returned, especially Bray Wyatt after an injury. And New Day interrupted, seemingly setting up a New Day Wyatt feud for the Tag Team Championships. Or should I say the WWE Tag Team Championships. And I think there might be something going on with Xavier. They got teased it last week, and now they're really teasing it again this week. They had Kofi dressed up like Warren with a different mask. He had a regular white sheet mask. Xavier with his hair down, kind of like bringing back the Consequences Creed look, drippy hair, and afro flare. He was Strowman, and Biggie was Bray Wyatt with a long beard. Long hat, though. Bray Wyatt is wearing a cowboy hat. Bray Wyatt wears a fedora, not a country hat. But nonetheless, even doing a parody like the little snippet of a video that Bray Wyatt does with their own little thing, that was kind of funny. And they came out saying that Bray Wyatt's been talking this negative garbage, but we want to deal with the power of positivity's way of life. And Wyatt did come to interrupt. And Biggie and Kofi were doing the talking. Xavier just stood there and did nothing. That's what happened last week, too. That Xavier was hypnotized by him when he was supposed to do the WWE World Tag Team Champions spot. So they played on that again this week with him not doing nothing after the Wyatts came out. So they might be teasing a New Day split. And Xavier joined the Wyatts. Wouldn't that be interesting? But it's so tough to see the New Day broken up. Especially if the brain split breaks them up before the Wyatts split them up. Even the back after the promo, Xavier was still not saying anything. So they're teasing something with this situation. With Xavier maybe joining the Wyatts. It would be weird. Because they can't split New Day. Especially when Xavier is such a big vocal part of New Day. And I do mean vocal with, of course, Francesca too and all. So there you go. Will New Day rock or New Day fall when they take on the Wyatts? I'm guessing Battleground. So, you know what they should do? They should have a 6-man at Battleground, then have a tag team title match at SummerSlam. See what happens there. See what WWE does with it. They want to slow down storylines I know of, but we'll see how far they're going to go on that promise. From what I've read from several dirt sheets and all that shit. On to our main event. Dean Ambrose against AJ Styles. Calling the first time ever in WWE. With Seth Rollins at ringside. Avoiding one bullet tonight. Blocking John Cena from making his match at Battleground a fatal 4-way. Thanks to a little help from the club. So now AJ will try to get in this match. And he and Ambrose had a fun match. Really good matchup. Really great. AJ got a good pop because we're in Florida, near Orlando, the home of TNA. Which I'm happy that AJ got to talk about TNA in the Austin podcast last week after the war. They avoided any references to TNA, but now they had AJ talk about TNA in full detail about even mentioning T Carter, so it's kind of cool to see him do that. So, as AJ and Ambrose put on a good showing, some good moves from both guys. Ambrose going for his clothesline. AJ going for, he went for the Pele. And that's what set up Ambrose to get knocked for the lunatic clothesline. But there's Ambrose was coming alive after a big offensive fury from AJ. Even being put in the calf killer. And going on one knee after the damage that's been done to that knee after that calf killer. Here comes the club again to distract Ambrose. But this time, Cena came out to make it an even ball game. And did what AJ did to him. Screw him over. Ambrose capitalizing the Cena distraction with dirty deeds and a 1-2-3 victory for Dean Ambrose. After Cena lost to Rollins, I was like, well, maybe that's kind of predictable. Cena's going to come in and screw AJ. Thus, causing AJ to lose his opportunity for a championship opportunity and building a match against them at Battleground and keeping the triple threat between the Shield members intact, even without Roman Reigns' involvement. So at the Ambrose's victory, he was able to celebrate it for long. As he got to see Cena get beat up by the club in a 3-on-1 beatdown. But before Ambrose could do anything to help Cena, Rollins came from the announce table, where he was commentating, attacked Ambrose from behind, nailing him with not one, but 2 pedigrees. But then the Christ of the Resistance, try to say that right, was the club, Edison and Gallows, delivering the Magic Killer on Cena on the Titantron. So we had a club and AJ standing tall for Cena, and Ron standing tall for Ambrose as we end Raw. Now, here's what I think they should do with AJ and Cena. Now that they're not in a triple threat match at the Battleground making a fatal 5-way, it would have been interesting to see him in there so they can save a 1-on-1 encounter for SummerSlam. But now that they're not involved in it, when they lost their matches with both screwing one screwing the other, we're going to see a match at Battleground. But I think this should be a 3-on-3. Cena should get the Return of Randy Orton or somebody else to take on the club in a 3-on-3 match so they can save an AJ Cena 1-on-1 at SummerSlam. That's what I think they should do. But what WWE was going to do, time will tell. So there you go tonight. The first Raw post-ring suspension. Decent one tonight. Some good things and bad things, but hey. Heading toward the draft, anything could happen. But we did see Corporate Kane and Demon Kane. Wrong Demon. So, seeing a lot of big returns. Because we saw Miz and the Social Outcast return. But we may see some more returns. We head towards the draft on July 19th. And that is it, my Raw review tonight. Thanks so much for watching. With that in mind, let's act by the review from Zach. See you later. Too sweet to you, yeah.